yeah, basically Metaverse HQ for those that don't know is a platform that started off as an NFT alpha community. We were the first ever community to sell passes and make it gated and share alpha. We were early to many other projects, including Bored Apes, Azuki, the Pudgy Penguins. Like we were very early to all of those, and we partnered with a lot of them too to bring a lot of like quality content and alpha to our members. So it's been fun. It's been a good journey, and this is all was the next natural next step to bringing to growing basically, and growing in ways that like break borders, and we've evolved over time. Now we kind of decided it was time to you know grow our content arm, and here we are, just making shows on Twitter too. So yeah, um, without further ado, I'll introduce my co-host here, Jake and Bake, founder of MVHQ. Jake, how are you, bro? How's everything?
Yeah, doing well, man. Great intro, Jinzo. Like you're saying, we've been around here for over 4 years now. Basically, 4 years now. That's we started in actually January 2021 and early Top Shot days. Originally Top Shot Discord, and have transitioned a bit. As just kind of like piggyback on, just in general, like for intro to the show, we're really just trying to give as much valuable info as possible. We're gonna do our best. We do research on what's upcoming, as well as we're very in tune with the market on a day to day basis. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about macro stuff. We're gonna be talking about upcoming airdrops, mints, as well as just like general thoughts around the space, different insights, trading psychology, all those different topics. Ideally, try to like cut out a lot of like banter. It's this is this is a longer normal or a longer intro than normal just because it's our first show. Um, and then like, just try to deliver as much alpha, within this hour or so period that we have the show as possible. We're gonna go topic by topic, and also we'll give a chance as well to bring up anyone from the audience too. If you guys have thoughts as well, we want to we want to be pretty relatively inclusive with people from the audience and stuff too. But we will be also quick to mute anyone who tries to go super off topic or try to shill us their project and whatnot. Ideally, we're here to deliver alpha and value, as everyone's time is valuable. So yeah, but yeah, I'm founder of Metaverse HQ. I've been full-time crypto for 4 years now. I trade every day. I trade NFTs, shitcoins, perps, you name it, really. So decently in tune with the market, I would say. And Jinzo is as well. I know Jinzo is a high volume and daily trader as well. So hopefully we can provide some valuable insights here, and hopefully some of you guys in the audience. I'm sure I already see some familiar faces, some really good traders, thinkers, investors as well in the space already. So would love to get other people's insights on the different topics that we share as well. But yeah, Jinzo, just to answer your original question, I'm doing great. Market's not doing as great, but yeah, we'll get into it. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Bloody Monday here, but we keep vibing. You know how it is when the timeline is basically crying and bleeding. We usually take advantage of these opportunities. So same as always. Really, I'm not really panicking. I'm just gonna keep looking for these spots to make money in, and I'll just keep buying those dips. I don't think it's over by any stretch of imagination. I think we're maybe not getting started, but we're like well into it now, and I mean, anytime there's blood on the streets, there's opportunity to be had. I think counter trading CT is probably the most profitable strategy out there. So when I'm seeing a lot of people call for tops and lower lows and stuff, I just like what I mean. I lick my chops and I just dig in. So it's gonna be. I think you know we're seeing a lot of dump because maybe people are selling the news on inauguration. Maybe it's because I don't think enough people also are giving enough credit to the fires in Los Angeles and how that's affecting the United States and causing a little bit of chaos and panic. And like we saw with COVID back in the day, it usually causes crashes in the markets too. So I think I don't hear enough people talking about that, but I think it is affecting it in a big way. Um, but yeah, I mean that's where we make our money, right? That when everybody's panicking is when we start making the biggest gains. So yeah, risk on for me. I'm still investing. I'm obviously being a lot more careful when it comes to like shit coins and stuff, because if the regular market's taking hits, that means shit coins are taking even bigger hits. So I'm more liquid, just taking like picking my spots, going in and out and stuff. But in general, like I said, these are my favorite times. I like when things are dumping. Sure, it's a little bit nerve wracking, but hey, for the most part, I'll just like get my eyes off the markets for the majority of the time and just play video games and stuff. And I'll just like pick my spots, like I said, go in and out and do some research in the meantime. But I'm trying not to be as involved because I don't want to make many mistakes when it comes to, you know what I mean, red markets. I'll just either buy and hold, or I'll just get in and out of some shit coins. But like buy and hold long term, I mean, like on the regular coins, then you know do flips on shit coins. But yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing right now, man. Just taking it really, really slow. So, but yeah, give us what are you seeing out there? What are you seeing on macro? What are people saying? Like, give us some details here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't claim to be any type of macro expert. I'm more in the trenches, shitters NFT stuff, but I do follow people who I think are macro experts because I've been following them for years and they've consistently had really good takes. So I usually reference them, but just for a quick rundown on what we were looking like. Bitcoin down 10% on the week, ETH down 19% on the week, Solana down 20% on the week. A lot of blood in the streets right now, especially on altcoins getting hit pretty hard. AI coins, which we'll talk about later in the show for sure, getting hit probably the hardest. Um, but yeah, just in general, I'm pretty similar to you. I don't feel, I'm not feeling panicked right now. I reference Don a lot, I would say. Don Alt, Crypto Don Alt, if you're familiar with him. I wish I could share his tweets, but he is um he's private now, so it won't let me like repost his tweets, but I'll try and pin one of this chart here in a second. Um he's basically saying, right now he has support at 90 to 91K, which we kind of touched. We definitely did touch, sorry, this morning and bounced off a little bit. He essentially drew this line. Um, let's see here, pin to. Sorry, again, this is our first space, so bear with me if we have a little bit of technical difficulties. We're used to doing stuff on Discord. Um, but yeah, yeah, I guess I don't know. It's not letting me pin this, but essentially he kind of drew this graph. If you go to Don's profile, and he's basically saying we're probably going to go down to 85K is kind of what his guess is. Mid 80s, chop around there for a couple weeks, trend up, and then come back into the range that we're already in. So certainly we could have more blood here. It makes sense too from a macro perspective. The inauguration is a big event. And it's a week from now on the 20th where Trump officially does take office. And, I'm sure you hear this quite a lot, but markets just don't like uncertainty. We're seeing the same thing in the traditional markets where there's quite a dip right now as well. I think it just makes sense that there's going to be a bit of a chop before Trump comes in, especially with a lot of dialogue that he's been having prior to, where he's talking about, just essentially like taking over like countries in a way, not exactly, but maybe. Um, where has people a bit worried. Greenland talked about Canada becoming a state, talking about changing the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, talking about a lot of different tariffs that he's going to apply, which increases prices on things as well. So there's a bit of worry, I would say, coming in, and also the fact of all of his crypto dialogue. Remains to be seen how quickly he does enact this. Obviously, the big thing is the Bitcoin strategic reserve that he's promised, which would be, in my opinion, like an absolutely massive catalyst for Bitcoin and crypto in general. If the government itself was buying Bitcoin, that's an insane amount of buy pressure, and it also, I think, on top of that, it would be front ran by, large governments, institutions, businesses, you name it, across the world. It would kind of apply a stamp of legitimacy onto Bitcoin. Um, and that's a massive amount of buy pressure coming in, especially now that they can do so through these ETF vehicles as well. Um, so in my opinion, like that's the big reason that I just have like full confidence that this cycle is not over yet, as a lot of people are calling for. It's just like there's too big of a catalyst kind of waiting out there. If this Bitcoin strategic reserve was for some reason to get like um thrown away, which I don't really see that happening, because Republicans do control Congress, and Trump's in there, so it shouldn't be too tough to get what he wants passed. And there seems like a decent amount of support for this as well already. But if for some reason that was to not happen, that would be troubling, I would say. But while that's still on the table, in my opinion, I'm not worried at all about this cycle. It also makes sense from a 4-year cycle, as we've had in the past, that this would be like the 2021 version here now in 2025. Um, but yeah, so that's just to say, like right now, I'm not panicking. Just TLDR, not panicking. It makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, that we would continue to chop at least until inauguration, which is a week from now. But in my opinion, a lot of good catalysts coming up, especially if Trump does start to move quickly on his pro crypto promises. Um, as well as and also a nice little bonus is Chinese New Year is the 28th of January is when that starts, and typically good for markets, good for the economy, as there's a lot of consumer spending increase that happens with Chinese New Year. We've seen it in the past too, like late January, February, March, usually pretty good time for the crypto markets in general. So hopefully this year is no different.
Yeah, in the end, Trump is just like us, fighting for better entry. He's probably going to buy up this dip and increase USA's stack on Bitcoin. He's just like dropping FUD left and right on every country, and then he's just going to buy everything up. That's how this is going to work. But yeah, I think a lot of it was already priced in, as we saw on election day. We just started rocketing as soon as we saw he was ahead on voting, and yeah, I mean, I think we did well for early January. It just, I guess, with everything going on, all the FUD and everything, and all the world events happening, we had to drop a little bit, and here we are, kind of like re-entering an accumulation zone. And I think we're still okay. We were due for a drop. I mean, if you zoom out and you look at the longer time frame charts, you see that we're still in very good shape and we're still on a good level. So I'm not too worried, really. Like I was saying earlier, I think we'll be fine, man. And just time to buy those dips. Uh, that's all really I could say. We've seen this before. Every cycle brings like 12, 13 really large dips, and people panic, and then all of a sudden, oh look, we're at all-time highs again, and people forget that we were downtrending for a while. They just completely, like, it's like, Men in Black. You pull out that little pen and boom, you forget that we just went through a huge dip like a week ago. So just how it is. It's part of the markets. People with time, they need to kind of like get acclimated to that and understand that that's just part of the game. And that's why you need to sell on the way up, because then you'll have like liquidity to make moves when things come down again. So yeah, just always be adjusting your strategies and always make sure you're staying nimble with it, because these things happen. You can't get all your up in your emotions and lose your mind when it happens. You kind of you start getting thick skin in crypto, and this is just another one of those moments where that thick skin comes in handy. But luckily, Jake, the one thing that we do get often in this space are airdrops, and we have finally some good news on the Azuki front. Anime is dropping soon. They gave us a nice little, reason to feel good yesterday when they dropped that info. A lot of people were hype. We saw their NFTs come up across the board, right, where Azuki's were around the 12 ETH range, and they dropped almost 15 when the news dropped. They've retraced a little bit when people started crunching the numbers, and they saw that the allocation was a little smaller than they expected, and that it was more like point focused, which a lot of us already knew was going to happen, but now it got confirmed. Um, yeah, let me see. We can pin these things. Let me try to find it. I had it up here. Oh yeah, this tweet here kind of gives a breakdown of how. Let me see. Pin. Sorry for spaces. You know how it is. We're so used to dropping things like in Discord. It's not copy paste. Cool. Everybody can see it now.
I know we tested
Yeah.
this too, and like it's working differently than when we tested it.
Yeah, usually it's so quick. I can't even pin this thing, but basically it's a breakdown of how anime is going to be distributed, and the community is getting. Well, they say the community is getting 50%, but in reality, it's 37.5% to the Azuki community, point based, and another 13% will go to other communities like Hyperliquid and Yappers and a few others. But everything will be unlocked on launch day. There will be 10 billion anime dropped on launch day, and 7.5 of it will be unlocked. The rest will be like team locks and stuff. So in general, 75% or more will be unlocked on day one. We'll be able to trade it and you know what I mean, sell if we want to or whatever. But I think they're gonna have a good market maker on hand, and the price should be supported. Like we've seen with other drops, we'll probably see a large dump initially, and then like a slow recovery on the first couple of days, all depending on how the market is doing. But yeah, airdrop season is always fun. It brings liquidity back into NFTs, into crypto, into our bags, hopefully into shitcoins too. But usually it'll be mostly to NFTs and other, other main products. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm still holding a nice bag of Azuki. I have my main Azuki that I hold plus a bunch of elementals. So I'm sitting on about 1,900 points. I've been rolling my gachas nonstop. I've been involved. I've been waiting for this. It's going to be fun to see how they like use this token and what it's going to be used for and stuff, and how they grow from here. Because usually token means top for a community, but we'll see. I mean, Pudgy is executed perfectly. Azukis have made mistake in the past with some of their drops, so a lot of people are very bullish on them, but still very weary on how it might play out. I hope it's not the top for them because they're a feel good project with a lot of like plans ahead. So yeah, I think it's going to be overall bullish. But a liquidity injection of this side is always fun for markets in general, and we'll see how that goes. What are your thoughts, Jake? Are you still holding Azuki?
No, yeah, good for you for grabbing some. I didn't even know you had any.
Oh yeah, I still have a big bag. I have like five
Uh,
elementals, my main PFP Azuki that I never actually PFP, but anyway.
yeah, no, I used to be a big Izuki holder. That was my PFP for a long time. But I don't know. I kind of just got uh sick of NFT stuff as they just grinded down so long. So I sold mine quite a while ago. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense still. It probably will do pretty well based on the tokenomics that I'm seeing, as you mentioned, like 37.5% to Zuki community, and that's all unlocked right away. That should be a pretty big stimmy. That's pretty similar to the Pengu one. I would personally project it to come in lower as far as FTV than what Pengu came at. Just based on just based on I guess sentiment from wider community regarding the Zuki collection versus sentiment versus Penguin or Pengu or whatever it is. But yeah, there's going to be quite a large float in general. The foundation is also fully unlocked at the beginning, and the team, as far as it seems to me, the team fully controls that. So the team probably could sell right away if they wanted to from that foundation wallet. I don't know if they will. I'm just saying. So yeah, quite a large float, which is going to be quite a lot of sell pressure. Initially, we'll see what kind of exchange listings they have. They'll be listed on Hyperliquid right away, which is a good get for them. I think that's smart. Also, along with that, they're doing a partner airdrop for people who are staking Hype, as well as people in Kato, which I thought was pretty interesting. That's pretty bullish, I would say, for Kato as a platform, since Kato is pretty new. If you guys are unfamiliar, Kato is the mindshare platform. Their NFTs are like 7 or 8 ETH now. I haven't checked today on what they are now, but that was like a zero point 0.1 mint or something like a few weeks ago, or maybe like a month ago or so. And also Arbitrum, I think is it says Arbitrum communities. I'm not sure exactly who are part of that airdrop as well. So interesting that some partner communities are getting in there. I'd say like my main takeaway, I guess, from that is it's pretty bullish for Cato that they were able to land this so early into the start. And Cato is one that people are farming pretty hard right now. Cato Yappers, I'm pretty sure it's. I haven't looked into it too much, but I think it's based on like social media activity as well. So yeah, I would anticipate quite a bit of sell pressure right away with how big the unlock is. We saw something similar to Pengu. I think it's actually quite similar to the Pengu airdrop. Um, where there could be, especially on the first day or so, I would anticipate a lot of profit taking across the board, where we might see a bit of a dip and then a pump after um, like a decent amount of claims are unlocked. 50 to 70% is usually been the sweet spot of percentage claimed from community airdrop, where the price starts to bottom a bit and goes back up. So that's kind of where I would be targeting if I was trying to get in on this coin and play like any type of swing play. Maybe they'll have Hyperliquid perps up since they're partnered with them. We'll see, but yeah, in general, I think it's a positive for the space, because it's basically another free money airdrop. Hopefully, some liquidity comes in. We saw after Pengu that a lot of stuff pumped quite a bit. Based on the Pengu liquidity, we saw like some catch up plays. Even Azuki was one of them, but also like Doodles and Cool Cats and some of these other NFT plays, as well as a lot of the AI stuff as well. Just because Pengu was on Solana, so yeah. That's it for the Zuki stuff. I don't know if you have anything else. Also, wanted to give a chance to anyone who wants to come up and speak. You are free to request if you have thoughts on the Zuki stuff or any other airdrops that we're about to talk about as well. If you have anything else you wanted to shout out.
Yeah, interestingly enough, here they don't have any VC tokens. They didn't drop a VC round, so I'm curious how that's going to play out. I see mixed reactions on Twitter about that. Like a lot of people are comparing it to how Hyperliquid didn't take any VC backing and did full community stuff, but that was a little different, I think. But yeah, and you have others saying how, oh, I don't know how they're going to stay funded for long if they didn't take money from VCs. I mean, yeah, sure, they had a big war chest already ready to roll out and stuff. But I also I think they're going to be okay. They've been doing a lot of a lot of. They've always had money to do things, so I think they're going to be okay here. I know their vision is vast and they have a lot of things planned, and it's going to cost money to do this. My only worry is I hope they don't start dumping some of their own tokens. People are overlooking the fact that they hold a large amount of Azukis too, and they're going to get coins just like us. So my worry is maybe they start selling some of their own allocation that is not on this breakdown. It's more in the community round allocation that they're going to get from the Azukis that they hold in their wallets. So yeah, but I think that'll be fine. I think even if they do start selling a little bit from that allocation, the market can absorb it pretty easily. I'm sure they have very good market makers on hand, and as long as everything else stays above board, I think Azuki's going to do fine. Anime is going to do fine. But yeah, excited for it. If anybody has some thoughts, go ahead. Now's the time.
Yeah, we can transition a bit in the meantime to some other airdrops put on your guys' radar. Obviously, OpenSea is one. Who knows when they're actually going to come? They said they were going to drop something new in December, and they definitely didn't. And they got heavily, memed and trolled online because of that. So who really knows with OpenSea? I don't even know how bullish it's going to be. Ideally, it's somewhat of a stimmy for a lot of us who were in the space heavily in 2021, 2022 when NFTs were a big thing and did a lot of volume on OpenSea. I know both of us are certainly hoping that it's something decent, but OpenSea is pretty known for disappointing, so I don't have very high hopes there. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I can't really do a lot of analysis without seeing the tokenomics on that one, because it obviously vastly depends if they do 5% to community or 40% to community. It's gonna be a big difference, and also how they categorize who they give it to as well. I guess one shot I would just say is I would at least do, if I were I've done this too, but like I would at least like do a couple of transactions on especially like on your wallets that have had like previous volume on OpenSea in the past, just to kind of get it back, in case there's any type of like bonus for being still active or like recent on OpenSea itself. I would maybe do a couple like smaller transactions at least if you can, on your various wallets that have decent volume, just in case.
Yeah, it was really on brand for them to drop info in December and just like roll right past it and not really give an update. Yeah, I love our partners over at OpenSea, but it was just a big meme, here on Twitter where everybody was like, "Yeah, we knew that was going to happen." But I'm hoping they do their drop here soon and that we get a nice stimmy. I mean, a lot of us were huge traders on OpenSea, and you know what I mean. As much heat as they get, I will always have like a little bit of a soft spot for them in my heart because they were what we used. Like as clunky as it was, that's what we used early on to make money, and I mean, it was still a step up from other platforms we had used in the past. So I still haven't forgotten my roots. And I know that, we've come a long way and a lot of other products have surpassed them and they gave us what we wanted along the way. But OpenSea really like did us a solid early on and we made a lot of money at OpenSea. Like, sure, we gave them a lot of money too, but I mean, it was fun trading on there in the early days, like, yeah, I get a little nostalgic when I think about the early days on OpenSea. So I hope we get rewarded for it. It
Yeah.
should be a fun airdrop.
Yeah, I don't have any soft spot for them. I think they've handled things very poorly. They've had really bad community communication just in general, like throughout. And they've also, I will never forget, the fact that they would just randomly lock accounts from people buying stuff when they had zero control over it. And I've paid them, a lot of money, so I don't feel any type of, I don't feel any type of soft spot. To be
Yeah, I
honest
feel that. As soon as I thought of it, and I'm like, man, it's true. We gave him a lot of money. Like while I was talking, I'm like, yeah, wait, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, I mean, I hadn't used them in a while, and thank God for GLHFers that came out with big announcement recently, and gave me an opportunity to actually sell something on that platform. Just to, kind of like you were saying, have a bit of a recent activity. I didn't want to like just be flagged as inactive or whatever, so I just sold a couple things on that platform and made some money there. But that's the only main reason I even used it.
Yeah. Sorry, real quick, couple other things on that was Genesis. They have their own like, I don't really know what it's for, but people are speculating that this increases, airdrop amount. It's some NFT collection on OpenSea. There's like 100,000 of them. I think it's like 0.04 ETH floor right now. It had pumped to like maybe like 0.1 or so at some time, maybe 0.08. I can't remember what the all-time high was. So that's one. And then also it might help to do transactions on different chains as well, since OpenSea supports like 10 different chains like Arbitrum, Avalanche, Base, Blast, Optimism, all those L2s, say Polygon. So like doing transactions of different chains, maybe that gives you a multiplier or some type of boost as well. So I would also recommend doing that.
If you're gonna go for Genesis, I'd recommend just putting up bids. There's no rush, and really, if you're gonna buy them, like if you bought them at 0.08, you're probably regretting it now. So don't do it. Just try to catch them on the low side because there's just so many of them, and people are gonna look to unload. So yeah, I'm not personally buying any. I mean, it might be safe to get at least one. Now they're starting to get kind of on the low side, and I know when I got mine, I sold it a lot higher than here. But yeah, put out bids. Don't just buy them at high numbers. Just wait, let it come to you. Don't really rush for it. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, more airdrops put on your radar. Jupe airdrop, another claim for them, is going to go live. I believe it's the 30th of January, so maybe like 2 weeks. Line up pretty well with Chinese New Year. Hopefully a nice little stimmy. It seems like it'll be a decent amount. I think it's at current prices around like $500 million dollars worth of Jupe that's going to be airdropped to or claimed for communities. I'm pretty sure it's based on volume mostly, that you've done swapping on Jupe, which is a DEX on Solana. So just make sure to keep your eye on it, put it on your calendar or something so you don't forget the claim, because it'll be free money if you do use Jupe for swapping stuff. I'm not sure if the snapshot has been taken or not. So that would be something you'd have to check on too if you're trying to farm or whatever. I don't probably not worth it to farm, but I personally use it naturally because I like the decks a lot. One other thing, abstract supposed to be coming as well in January. I've seen a lot of speculation, especially with like penguins price rising, that penguins are getting abstract airdrop. I would anticipate that they do, but I would say I personally, and I've seen shout out Silva Serger, who's MVHQ staff and member as well. He had a really good take on this. He thinks, and I agree. I don't think it's going to come out right away. It would make sense that abstract acts as a bit of kind of what Blast did, but maybe without like the whole point system, where they launch the chain first and the token's not out right away. It might be a few months where. I mean, it just makes sense to try and capture market share, get people to bridge over is, for activity. To get people to come onto the chain, right? Give them an incentive, and that would be not dropping them the token right away, but have some different applications go live and people use the different games and dexes and whatever other projects are launching on abstract chain itself before they deal out the token. So I think that's interesting, especially for Penguin price, because I feel like a lot of Penguin price is held up by the abstract stuff, and if they don't drop a token right away, maybe Penguins see a decent dip as people are anticipating. I think quite a lot of people are anticipating that the tokens right away. It feels unlikely to me, but that's just my take. I don't have any insider info or anything on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know abstract is dropping the last week, like in like 20 something of January, but I feel like they might delay the token a little bit. Not even delay. I think maybe it's just not planned to drop at the same time. Like I could see it go either way, but I just feel like you're right. For them to capture more, they need to, they delay that for a few weeks at least, and keep bringing people onto the chain, test out the chain and stuff like when it goes live, and then maybe roll out the tokens. But either way, we have so many airdrops coming that it doesn't matter if they drop right away. I'd even rather them push it into February, really, or you know what I mean, February, March. Give us a bit of time. Let us enjoy our anime airdrop and you know what I mean, other airdrops that are coming. Um, yeah, even the HQ token very soon, guys. If you haven't done your missions yet, app.mvhq.io, get on there. There's 2 weeks left, and the week 7 missions are starting up here in like an hour or so. So yeah, get on your week 6 missions, get those done. Join the platform. We're giving away so much HQ token on there. It's flying under the radar, and it's such a good opportunity for people, and I just wish they were taking more advantage of it, because when it comes out, people are going to cry that they didn't. But anyway, week 7 is about to get started. Get on that. We're dropping soon too. No exact date announced yet, but it's coming.
Hell yeah, baby.
What you put a pop on the list? Is that from a pirate chain or a pirate nation?
Yeah, Pirate Nation as well. I don't know. We don't know when it's actually going to launch. They've been kind of teasing stuff a lot, but just wanted people put on people's radar as well that Pop Airdrop, which is like proof of play. They're the parent company behind Pirate Nation, but I think they're building a lot of really interesting and innovative tech infrastructure behind just on-chain gaming in general. And I think their token, is kind of like the prized one, whereas they already have Pirate token out, but it should be quite a bit higher valuation than what the Pirate token is, because it's for the parent company, and they not only have the infrastructure, but they're also going to launch other games and stuff as well. So I think that one's pretty anticipated. Obviously, Pirate, anything in the Pirate ecosystem should get a decent chunk of that airdrop. I also GLHF, which is going to be launching on Abstract soon. They should also, I would anticipate, get a Pirate airdrop too, since their founder works for a proof of play. It's like the head of BD. Yeah, so I just wanted to shout that one out as well. Any other airdrops that we missed?
I think we're good on.
Oh, Bear Chain as well. I should shout out too. I'm not super into the Berachain ecosystem, but I think a lot of feedback on your mic, Jinzo.
Yeah, I just figured out which mic is running. That's why it's the headset mic. I've been trying to switch it this whole time from my main mic, and I just touched it. I'm like, oh, that's the one that's running. I see the feedback meter flying off the charts.
Yeah, like we said, um, new space, technical difficulties are incoming, is what it is. But yeah, I think that's all I had for airdrop stuff. Oh, JJ God as well. Sorry, I'm looking at. I keep forgetting, but I'm looking in NBHQ voice hangout chat, and JJ shouted out the God airdrop. I think that's Infinity God. I actually don't know too much about that. Oh, also shout out Kato too, even though I already talked about them. But the yapping and then their NFTs as well, I'm sure would qualify. Airdrop season is among us, all around us. Hopefully, very soon. It seems like a lot are headed for end of January, which another catalyst for the crypto market. Let's just get rid of the chop here for this next week or two, and then up only. How about that?
Oh yeah, baby, I'm here for it. Let's do it. Yo, did the mic just change a lot? Like, because I think I just changed it.
No, you sound the same.
God damn it. We're gonna get better next time, guys. I promise. Like on Discord, we're like flawless. Everything rolls perfectly. We're able to do everything. But Twitter's a bit of an adjustment. They need to get their act together too. I feel like it's just so clunky compared to other stuff. But yeah, like I'm excited, man. A lot of airdrops. Pop is going to be a big one. I think. I think they're going to develop a lot of different products to drop on their chain and help other communities, well, not communities, but other companies develop games and stuff, and expand. I think that chain runs really well. I've had no issues at all, except for early on when they had a lot of updates rolling out and stuff. Like there was some down times and stuff that they were dealing with. But for now, I think it's been great. I still play Pirate Nation every day. I still try to, get my pirate token and stuff, and work on the airdrops that they have going on over there. Their NFTs came back in a big way too. They had dropped down to like 0.6 or 0.7, and they came back up to 1 ETH not too long ago. Let me pull them up. I'm actually curious to see what they're at right now. Yeah, they're back to 0.8, so they've been trending between 0.7 and 1 ETH for a while. But yeah, there's a lot of exciting ones coming out. Berachain, I know a lot of MVHQ members are farming that one. That's going to be huge. And I know we had a couple of missions too on our platform for Berachain. I hope we're taken care of really. But yeah, I'm not super invested in Berachain, but I know a lot of people are going to absolutely print on that one. It's going to be a big one. Yeah, that's all I have on airdrops. Another sector that's actually caught a lot of heat the last few days is Ape Chain NFTs. I mean, Jake, we were super early to Ape Chain. It came out. We thought we were on the right track. We started shitcoining. We started, we're so early. We made so many multipliers, and then we ended up round tripping every single dollar we made. You know what I mean? On Ape Chain. Because why? Because we gravitated naturally to shitcoins, but obviously Bored Apes are NFTs, and early on the NFTs were kind of garbage on there. I think they were very copy paste, like we see across the board. And recently they've had more quality, and even the creators of Bored Apes, Garga and Gordon Garner and all these guys, they started backing a lot of the projects that are coming out, and we saw a lot of activity on Ape Chain for NFTs. I mean, Gobs on Ape minted a week or two ago now for free to certain members, to holders of Believer Pass actually, and some others also, and they ran up to almost 3,000 ape, one full ETH of Ape coin, as people like started getting them and they started getting backed by the creators of Bored Apes and stuff, and a lot of other NFTs on there just started flying last week. It's been good. I found what I like about them is they give people, like right now. I think it's very hard to make money in this space when you're new because it takes a lot of money to make it. Like sure you can make money gambling on shitcoins and stuff. You can go there and probably like gamble away your money on the Soul Casino and try to make a big multiplier and probably put it all back. But what I like about Ape Chain NFTs is that even with just a few dollars, you can get involved. There's Ape Chain NFTs that are like 1.7 ape or like 15 ape coin, and they allow you to make flips with very little investment. many of the bigger names don't even touch them because of how low they are. They just think it's not worth it. Like even me, I don't really go there and start flipping 15 ape NFTs and stuff because for me it's just not worth my time. But I know that it's like giving a lot of opportunity for smaller accounts to find their own niche with less noise to it, find opportunity to enter a space where lately it's been kind of hard, right, for newer people to jump in. But I think ApeChain gives people that, like, it extends that olive branch and allows people to come in with very little money and try to make it something and kind of learn the ways of NFTs and stuff, kind of like what we did in the past with ETH NFTs. It feels like ApeChain is giving that opportunity to people now, and it's being largely overlooked. Everybody's playing on other chains. It's starting to catch a little bit more volume lately, but I think it's still kind of low. Like prices have retraced now the last couple of days because there's just blood in the streets and stuff, and everything was up so high. Gobs came back down to about 958. Um, but like I said, I think it presents a great opportunity for people that, in other words, haven't really gotten involved or decided to fade shitcoins altogether. I think it's a good opportunity for people. Even Apes on Ape that got taken down because they got basically DMCA'd by Bored Apes. The art was looking too similar to it. When they got taken down, they were around the 30 or 40 ape range, and now they just got relisted with no art yet, and they're at like almost 70 ape. So yeah, things are looking up. I'm excited to see how this evolves.
Yeah, honestly, I have not been paying attention at all to the Ape Chain stuff. Good for those who have been grinding. That feels like a very niche corner of the world of crypto. But that's I mean, I think that's the cool thing about crypto is that you can. There's a lot of good opportunities if you are kind of exploring things that most people aren't. So hats
Yeah,
off to those who are able to get into those projects.
yeah, that's why I'm shouting it out. It's just really because nobody's looking at it, and I feel like smaller accounts could make money there. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people are still sidelined right now. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. Right, so that might be a more quiet sector that they can explore for very cheap. Just get involved again and make a few dollars here and there on new drops. I know Ruthless gave us some big alpha on that, where the Believer NFTs on Ape Chain. I think they're going for like 808 now. Let me take a look. Believer. They get every airdrop that drops on their platform, and they've been getting every. Yeah, the Believer Pass is at 808, and they get airdropped everything. I think they got Gobs. They got a bunch of other ones too. G's on Ape that pumped up to 650 Ape coin. So they've been getting a lot of the airdrops of everything that drops on their platform. So that's something to explore too. I'm not saying go and buy the Believer Pass without research, but it's something to look into. I think they're presenting an opportunity that like people are just overlooking. I think for smaller accounts might be worth it, even for people just looking to get involved in something else. Oh, Ruthless wants to come up. Actually, let's bring him up and see what he has to say. Yo, Ruthless, what's going on, bro?
Hey, what's going on? Just wanted to give a quick note. Today, by the way, awesome show so far. Good to see you guys out here outside of the Discord. But um, Pass actually just announced or confirmed that there will be no more passes minted, and also they will be getting abstract mints as well. So I just wanted to kind of come up here and put a little note on that. So yeah, I mean, that was kind of the ethos behind me buying one, was because of I saw that they were going to be doing abstract stuff like a month ago or so. But yeah, definitely ape chain ecosystems kind of starting to build a little bit with gobs and all that.
Yeah, that's great context. Thank you. I mean, there's only 1,000 of those passes, and I feel like even on that news, they haven't moved. They've just this whole ecosystem is being overlooked, and I feel like it's just a matter of time before they start catching bids, especially on these passes. Uh, yeah, big ups to you. Like props to you for bringing that in. I feel like that was some great alpha, and the floor is really thin on them too. I think there's upside here. ApeCoin is so cheap, and like I said, if these were on ETH, they wouldn't have been overlooked. They would have been scooped up already. So I'm glad to see they're getting involved on abstract too. The abstract's going to be big. I think they're building the right way, and yeah, these passes, if they're going to be used for abstract also, it's going to be a big thing. What have you been up to, Ruthless? Are you touching anything else, or are you mostly just concentrating on Ape Chain?
Well, actually, I guess funny enough, I've been focused kind of on this new art platform called Rodeo. It's like rodeo.club, and it's on base, and I think it's from the founder of Foundation. I think his name's Kayvon on here on Twitter, and it's been kind of a bit of like a just wild over there, to be honest, because Jack Butcher went on there, and he's been posting every day for like the last like 27 days. I think last week he finally finished, or 26, and he apparently you can change the metadata on there, and it's a whole thing. Sorry, it's a big rabbit hole, but he ended up like minting a bunch of stuff, and he changed the metadata, and now they're just going to be like the way they are like forever, I guess. And those things are getting like a lot of offers. Sorry, I got in the rabbit hole, but yeah, basically what Rodeo is it's like a feed of art, and every social media where you like it, if you want to comment on the art, you have to buy it, and you see what your followers buy and stuff like that. And actually the cool thing is that if, let's say, you see I bought something, Jinzo, I will actually get like rewards from you buying it, which is crazy.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, definitely something to look into, kind of, I guess, base and that, and obviously everything else dabbling in, but those two things, base and ape chain, have been kind of looking at.
That sounds like fun. That actually is a very, very creative idea. And Jack Butcher's already involved. I mean, that's going to be big. You know how he likes to talk about things, and he's good for the space. So I think that's big. Send me some links. I'm going to take a look. I hadn't even heard of that yet. Actually, I might have heard it in MVHQ in passing, but I didn't really look into it. But if you have links, I'll definitely, maybe we can showcase it on the next show or something.
Yeah, Ricky Morrow actually she wrote a field report on it
Field report,
yesterday, worth checking out. And yeah, there's a lot of, I think, Slanders on there, some like Jeremy Booth. They're kind of coming in, I think. Yeah, it's D's just made a post. It was an AI post that's doing pretty good, and like I feel like that's kind of a good barometer of when the KOLs are going to start hopping in there and stuff. So definitely check it out. It's making me enjoy collecting art, I guess, because it's like you can buy a mint for like $2 or something essentially.
Nice. I'll check out the field report. For those that don't know, we have our community always writes some really, really top alpha field reports and puts them into NVHQ. Field reports are basically write ups that they do for whatever it is that interests them or whatever alpha they find, and a lot of the times they'll get rewarded at the end of the month for their contributions. And I've found so much alpha in there. If you're an MVHQ and you're not using them, you're missing out on a big, big part of MVHQ. You're missing out on a lot of alpha there. And if you're, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those sectors you always want to explore. I'm just looking for new things to research all the time, and having that info come to me through field reports has always been a big plus. So yeah, I'm always very, very happy that the community shares.
Yeah, great shout, Ruthless. I hadn't heard of this rodeo, but it seems pretty interesting. I'm gonna check it out.
Jake, how have your shitcoins bags been doing, man? Have you been making money at all, or did you kind of like just take it easy the last few weeks? No, right?
I don't know if anyone has
real quick.
Yeah. It's been brutal in the shitcoin streets, that's for sure. There has not been very many runners, and like the strong ones that were doing well have been bleeding quite a bit with the recent Bitcoin bleed. So no, it's not been very good in the shitcoin streets. I don't know about you.
Not too bad. I mean, I was already kind of risk off. A lot of my bags were liquidated, but I did hold a few, and those are down bad. Buzz is doing all right. I was buying the dip on that, and I did sell in the 100 million range. It's an AI play too, so I think it's going to recover. But yeah, I've been buying dips on certain things, but a lot of the stuff is just down bad. Got a little lucky with UFD. With the announcement that Basement Ron, the creator of UFD, has a new sponsor on the show. It's MoonPay. MoonPay's been making big moves the last few days, trying to boost up, I guess, their company and partnering with a lot of big names. But yeah, quick story: Ron basically got dropped by his original sponsors, his gold and silver sponsors, because he backed crypto, which is kind of sad because he's been with them forever, and he was always big on them. He spoke highly of them, and they just kind of dropped him like nothing, basically just because he started backing crypto. But MoonPay came in like the hero, like wearing a cape and swept him up, and decided to give him a big sponsorship, and that helped the price go up. Another thing that I noticed though is that Binance came out with a new platform, not really a platform, but like an extension to their platform called Binance Alpha, and I feel like it's gone largely under the radar. They launched it in December, and basically what it is, it's almost like a place where they list shitcoins that are being tested, and it must be a way for them to leech volume also. But what they do is every few days they'll come and drop, they'll list four or five new shitcoins that are doing well, that people seem to like, onto their Binance Alpha platform. And what they say is what they say is that's where they're going to start taking coins from to basically list on main Binance. So that's kind of like the testing area for a lot of these shitcoins before they get boosted into their main Binance listings, that's something we always usually look for the next leg up on some of these coins. And UFD just got listed on there a few days ago, so that helped the coin come back up to 200 mil plus. But that's one place I would suggest people start looking at is Binance Alpha. And you can't really look at these lists unless you have the Binance app. The one way I found though is by going to CoinGecko.com and searching for Binance Alpha in their list, and you'll find like a whole list. Like what they do is basically they'll list a bunch of coins under a sector, and they have a Binance Alpha spotlight sector now, and that's what I've been looking at lately to see what might have a chance at joining Binance eventually. Their list is getting kind of long. They have actually it's not that bad. They only have 46 items there. Some of them are much more degen than others, but they have a lot of the AI stuff like AIXBT on there, and the AI16Z, Fartcoin, Griffin, Zero, they're all on this list. And I think that what they're doing is they're going away from how their last few listings were just random. They seemed random. They just picked them out of a hat and listed them. I think they're kind of went away from that because of the backlash they got from the community, and they put together this Binance Alpha as kind of a staging ground for the next listings, and they're going to be pulling their next listings from this list here. So yeah, not confirmed, but that's just how I've been seeing it. I think they're going to look at the volume and see also, holders and stuff, and pick the next listings from this list here, especially for the shitcoin stuff. I didn't know if you knew about this yet, Jake, but that's the one I've been kind of digging more into lately is this Binance Alpha stuff. I think it's just going way under the radar. And the reason why is because they didn't even post this on their main Binance Twitter. They posted this on Binance Wallet. So if you're looking for it, you need to go to Binance Wallet Twitter and kind of dig through the listings there. It's a new expansion that they have going on.
Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah, we've seen quite a bit. Some nice movement on the coins that did get listed on there, like Pippin and Ava, I think are a couple of the really big ones recently, like at least the most recent big runners, while the rest of the sector has been getting torched basically in the AI sector. And we can, I think, transition to AI stuff since that's pretty much the hot thing for all of the recent few months. And in my opinion, I think a lot of people's opinions for the rest of the cycle, it just makes a lot of sense that AI is here to stay. I would just say in general, like I don't feel there's been a lot of blood, I would say, in the AI streets. It's kind of the first time we've seen it since the big run-ups on a lot of these coins. And there's some panic. I've seen some, comments on, of course, CT talking about AI stuff's dead, like cycle's over, blah, blah, blah. But in my opinion, it just makes too much sense that we're still early. These are just normal dips, normal retraces. It kind of needed it, I would say, after a pretty huge hype run up of a lot of stuff that's not even quality, running up to very high numbers. And now we're getting a good amount of retraces. And I think either here or maybe even just a little bit lower, if Bitcoin does capitulate down to the mid 80s, will probably be at the end of the day, a really good spot to add to bags for different strong AI conviction projects that you have. But yeah, I wanted to bring in Ross as well, our resident AI expert, if I can call you that, Ross, who's also going to be having an AI show every Tuesday. I believe it's 5 p.m. Eastern on Spaces as well, where he's going to interview different founders, as well as just talk about the AI space in general more here on the MBHQ account. So yeah, what's up, Ross? How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up, Jake? What's up, Jinzo? Congrats on the live show, boys, and appreciate the shout. Yeah, we bring our show live tomorrow at 5 p.m., so tune in. We're going to get some guests in there and talk about AI. But yeah, I'd say in general, there's just a lot of panic, a lot of fear, and it's understandable. I think just watching the whole space melt down at the same time is definitely a little harrowing. It really brings into question what's going on with these projects. But there's definitely a lot I want to talk about, kind of what's going on behind the scenes, and how you should be approaching this AI pullback. Personally, I really believe that the AI, crypto combo, or just sort of the overlap of AI with crypto, is here to stay. And like any space or trend in the space, it's going to take some time to evolve and develop. So if you think back of NFTs in early days when we were trading those, there were things that were really good money printers to start with, and then as the space evolved, it got harder and harder, and the requirements for an NFT project to do well really ramped up. I remember there was a phase when building NFTs projects really needed roadmaps, and it was really important to have roadmaps and people that had some docs ability or some like founding behind them to launch these great projects, promises of IP, and kind of what we're looking ahead at for the future. So sort of the threshold of what it takes to have a good project increases in most facets of the space. It is a little bit different, I would say, for shitcoins, where stuff like memes, it's very intangible. That's very much just like how can they capture mind share and retain it. But I would still argue the primary driver of shitcoins and meme coins is their ability to produce mind share, which a lot of times just comes down to how many memes are they churning out? Are they continuing to build, in the sense of are they creating content in media? So we're here now with AI. It's a very similar situation to the rest of the market, where it's just pulling back across the board. And in any pullback, I always like to think about who is already in the trade, right? If you look at stuff that's leading the market, like virtual AI 16Z, most of those people are up like 5 to 10x over the period of a month or two. You have the end of 2024, so now you can take your gains, lock that in for 2024, try to save some money for tax season. You have some pretty bearish things, just macro economy wise, going on in the background. So it makes a lot of sense that these people who had made a lot of money are now selling to take profit, and we're seeing such a violent retracement. I don't think we've seen one in crypto like this for some time, but just understanding that it is part of a broader move, I think, for me at least, reassures me that it's not like an AI specific drawdown. And I think you're just going to see on Twitter a lot of FUD. People are trying to pinpoint, is it Shaw being a bad founder and manipulating other projects, whatever? Is it the tech being way behind the industry? There's all these different things that people are pointing to, but I think you just really should be looking at who was in this position beforehand. What is the market as a whole doing? So a lot of people were in the profit. Now there's a market-wide pullback. It makes sense that people are selling off here. So I know I'm just kind of ranting a lot here, but I do just want to set the scene as we've seen this before, and this is a developing market. So I totally agree with you, Jake. I think it's going to come back. I think the narrative is just way too strong. But I want to start setting it with that, and then I have a few other points we can get into. But I just want to hear, maybe any thoughts there you want to dive into a little bit deeper before I keep ranting here.
No, I think you're right, Ross. You weren't ranting at all. I mean, you're always on point with a lot of the stuff you're saying. I think a washout was needed. There was just so much noise going on in the AI space, and it just needed a lot of it just needed to disappear. A lot of the stuff needed to. We needed this cool off because there was just so many scammers coming in, pumping the worst shit, and usually a washout like this kind of washes out the scammers with it and allows the good projects to kind of grow out of the dirt. So yeah, I'm curious to see. I'm actually excited to see what happens here in the future. I think the good products will end up shining through, just like we saw Pippin move up. I think some of the more OG ones like Zero Bro, which is mostly chatbot, but they're always working on different things, right? They do raps and stuff, and they're far reaching. I think Zero Bro will bounce back nicely, and yeah, some other ones still remains to be seen. What new products come out, but I'm excited about AIXBT coming bouncing back hard, and seeing emerging tech too, uh, like Buzz. I want to see what Buzz is going to develop and how they're going to grow, but they're still in the very early stages. I mean, yeah, it's going to be fun. I think AI is not done by any means. I think even this is a good place to bid on the ones you like, um, and then we'll just go to new highs, hopefully.
Yeah, well said, Jinzo. And something that I wanted to chime in there is the acknowledgement of what is different about this trend in crypto, right? I don't want to call it a meta because I don't think that AI as a whole is a meta. I think we're going to be seeing metas within sort of this new evolving sphere of AI, right? So like we saw Graphane come out and went to 500 mil or whatever it went to, and then you saw a bunch of Graphane clones come out of here's the AI assistant where you tell it, I want to bridge to this chain, it'll do it for you. So I think there's going to be metas within AI. But talking about the broad scope of AI, the big thing that's different for this and other cycles to me is the actual utility that these projects are going to be based off of, right? If you look back at the stuff that we've been trading beforehand, we have NFTs, which for a while did have a promise of utility, but it was utility in the form of ownership. And then you went to shitcoins, and that was pretty widely accepted that there was no utility. This was just mind share. So with these AI projects, I think the big difficulty that the market is going to have and is having right now is that this takes a lot longer to play out. And this is crypto we're talking about, right? So a day in crypto is a week in the real world. A week in crypto is a month in the real world. So like people just don't have long attention spans. And betting on these projects and having them get to a higher point, it's going to take months. It's not going to be something that a project's going to come out and say, hey, we're building this crazy AI infrastructure. They're not going to have a mind blowing update. And you can look at, with NFTs, Yuga Labs is the perfect example. Yuga was teasing other side gameplay in this game for years and years and years and years. We still don't have a working version of that. So a lot of the critique you're seeing on the space now, I think, again, comes from this place of panic. It's fair to say that the technology in crypto is behind Web 2 and traditional companies. How could it not be behind, right? You're talking about tech companies with billions of dollars of funding and access to large teams of developers. They're obviously going to have more advanced tech. But really, in crypto, there's still some interesting tech developing. But again, it's just going to be this paradigm shift of in NFTs, you have the art there, you have the memes there, and then that is all FOMO based on price action. With AI, there is still FOMO based on price action, but in terms of like where does the utility develop and where do the catalysts come in where they can say this is clear cut the best product on the market, this is something that's adopted by a lot of people, and then people really start believing in that technology. That just takes time because it does require a lot of development and iteration. So it's really spooky right now when stuff is selling off, and I do believe that the stuff that's vaporware companies, which there are plenty of vaporware companies right now in crypto, those will just go to zero when we get these Pico tops or local tops that start selling off. But the companies that are really dedicated and have development teams and can make like legitimate projects, I think they're going to do great. It's just, you need to expand your time horizon. This is very different from a shitcoin. It's not going to, go up only for months at a time. It's going to have some ebbs and flows.
Love that. Yeah, it's a good reminder. We always like, oh, it's over. AI is done. It's dropping. Like with everything else. And then all of a sudden it comes back, and everybody's so surprised. But yeah, man, I agree. Good shouts. Can't wait for your show, Ross. It's gonna be a banger, man. You know your stuff. You know your stuff when it comes to AI, especially, and I know you've been focusing a lot on that. So excited to see what you bring week to week.
Yeah, dude.
I'll be tuning in tomorrow for sure.
Appreciate it. We got a fun guest lined up for tomorrow and definitely looking for more guests for future episodes. But yeah, just kind of wanted to give that just sort of commentary on the fear and the FUD. I think it's a little bit overblown. It could keep going, but I definitely would say if you're looking to buy dips, I would just be betting on teams and infrastructure right now. I think virtuals is still a great play. I know there's a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, virtuals doesn't do anything," but it's where most of the apps that actually have tech have been launched so far. I still, not a fan of Shaw at all, but I do think AI16Z had a big sell off, so it's a good opportunity to dip buy. Big fan of Arc and Grafane. I just think all of those have like really standout infrastructure for what they can release, proven devs with some track records there and good teams. So those are the kind of things that I'm buying right now. I've just been scaling into it because you never know where the bottom's going to be. But hopefully at some point here we hit the power back on and start going back to some new highs. But yeah, guys, appreciate it and great job on episode 1 here. Stoked to see you guys on Spaces.
Thank you,
Yeah, thank you,
Ross.
Ron. Appreciate you coming in. Excited for yours tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, GM boys.
What
Ross,
up,
what's going
guys?
on,
Can
bro?
y'all hear me?
Oh, BD. Yeah, BD was first. What's up, BD? How are you, bro? How's everything? We can hear you. BD?
Testing.
Block Daddy? Yeah? Can you hear me? Block
Guess we
Daddy,
can't
I
hear
think?
us.
Yeah, that's weird. I'm sure he was
We can
listening to
go.
this.
We can go to
Let's
WAF.
go to
What's up, WAF?
Waf.
How you doing,
What's
man?
up, Waf?
Hey, fellas. Hey, fellas. Great show, as always. Agree with so many points that were made today with via macro or just, down to the airdrops and about AI. I mean, AI is a $15 billion market, and it just kind of pulled back a bit. I think it's just getting started. It's really nothing to worry about. And then I just want to go back to the beginning of the show. Jinzo, you had made a great point about the LA fires really just not being, factored into the market. And I think that's why we're seeing some type of pullback. We have the inauguration on Monday. I thought people would front run, I guess, that news, but maybe the markets don't run until then. And then what I also think is going to happen is, you got a estimated damage of about $458 billion in California, and the insurance funds to assess those claims and like fulfill those claims is only $700 million. So a federal bailout is like absolutely on the table and has to come, which basically means money printing, and like that there's really no way around that. So I think we go straight to a V-shaped type of recovery, honestly, once that stuff gets put into place. So I think starting next Monday, it's going to be very bullish again.
Yeah, well, if I agree with you, I've been seeing the same things, and I was digging a little bit into how the insurance stuff worked in California and how all the major companies just said, they had put laws in place to kind of protect the homeowners, and all of a sudden, all the companies just said, "Yeah, screw this, I'm out," and they stopped servicing California. And what happened is the government had to get involved and put together a fund. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is just what I remember from reading quick, but they had to put together a fund to protect people and to get them basically government insurance for their house. The thing is that fund doesn't cover that; it doesn't have that much money in it to begin with. So let's say they had maybe 400, $500 million in that fund. Well, guess what? The first day gave $30 billion of damages alone. So yeah, the numbers you're giving out now are actually mind blowing. Up to 300 or $400 billion worth of damages, and the fires aren't even done yet. So yeah, definitely a big problem. I think people are overlooking it, and I think things. I agree with the V-shaped recovery. I just think things might get worse before they get better when people actually realize the devastation, because people aren't really calculating. They're not really, calculating that yet and adding it. But it's a big problem, and the states are going to feel it for a long time. It might even cause a bit of chaos when people realize that there was a bunch of other. And not to get too off topic here, but when they noticed there was a bunch of other disasters in the states and they didn't get the amount of help that California is about to receive, might cause even more of a problem for the markets. So yeah, not to get too into conspiracies and stuff. I'm just saying it could be. I'm just putting that out there because it could affect the markets much worse than it already has, just because people haven't thought that far ahead yet. But wow, if I agree with you, it's a big problem. Once the printers turn on, though, I think we go much higher.
Yeah, I just think they have to do it. I mean, Los Angeles is like the number 2 demographic size a city in the country, so you can't really let Los Angeles kind of like go to shit really. So pretty much, I think a bailout is like inevitable, and it has to be at the federal level because this disaster is so huge that California as a state can't handle it on their own. So I do think there's going to be some kind of package deal going to California, and again that's stimulus. That's always a net positive for crypto. And then once we see Bitcoin starting to move up, because Bitcoin always moves up when we debase the currency, and then the rest will follow. So I do think that's going to happen, and I do think the timeline's going to be. I think I probably anticipate it to be quicker than what you anticipate it to be, but that could just be my bullishness. But in any case, I do think it's coming, and you can take advantage of these discounts that we're getting while we're getting it right now.
Cassowary also says Olympics in LA in 2026, so we might even see a fast track to all this. They're going to have to move real fast. I mean, wow. How do you build all that in less than a year? If it was China, it'd be done in a day, but this is not China. They're going to have to really work hard to put all this together. It's going to move quick. It's going to accelerate. Oh, not Olympics, World Cup. I think Silver's saying, yeah, that makes more sense. Not Olympics. Or maybe it's both. I don't know. I'm confused. Yeah, it's the World Cup. My bad.
Appreciate the insight, guys.
Yeah, well, thank you.
We're 20 minutes over the hour mark here. I think we can probably wrap it up. Unless you had anything else, Jinzo, you wanted to?
I want to give the opportunity for Block Daddy to speak, just because he came up before.
Oh, BD, yeah.
Block Daddy, what's up, bro? Can you hear us now?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Let's go. So I was just curious from y'all's perspective what you think would be or could be a big retail chain this cycle besides Solana, Base, and ETH mainnet.
Besides those three, I mean, Abstract, I think, is the one that's really gunning for it here. Where they're, I mean, they're literally. I'm looking at their Twitter account. Their tagline is literally "the blockchain leading the next generation of consumer crypto." Where I mean, the goal of is certainly to make it easier to interact with the blockchain. Less barriers to entry. Less like technical difficulties, I would say, for the average person who doesn't really know what they're doing. And I think Abstract is probably the one that's most fitted to tackle that goal. So that's one that I am interested to see. I'm kind of waiting to obviously use the chain and like see for myself to really form any type of conclusion, but that would be my big bet for sure.
Cool. And is that a new layer one?
No, it's a layer 2. It's built on ETH. It's the Penguins are, I can't remember the relationship, if they own it, or like Pudgy Penguins if they own it, or if they're part of it. I can't remember exactly.
They bought it. They bought it.
Yeah.
It was Frame before, and then Luca Nets came in and bought Frame while that was being developed, and they turned it into Abstract.
Yeah, Seiger, OX Seiger on Twitter is I think he was like the main founder of it, the main dev. If you want to follow him for any like insights, updates, and stuff, he's a good follow. Especially just general crypto knowledge. He'll comment on a lot of big things happening in the space. I think he's a really good dev. He was the Azuki dev too.
Respect for Sager from a dev to another dev. But that was really all I was. Well, I have some more curiosities, but I'll save them because I know we're over the mark. But thanks for having me up, guys.
Come back on next week. We'll talk about them.
Yes, sir.
For sure.
Thanks, BD.
All right, fam.
Yeah, before we wrap up, quick shout once again, app.nvhq.io. Go farm your HQ token. We only have 2 weeks left, really, for the main farm, so I would definitely get involved if you haven't already. Also, good reminder for the members that keep procrastinating, because we talk about it all the time. You guys always want to get involved, but you forget. So get on there, do your missions. They don't cost much at all. A lot of them are even free. So yeah, just get your points in. Don't come back crying to me after, being like, "Oh, can you extend, please?" I didn't do this mission. No, that's not how it works. Get on there. Stop procrastinating.
Yeah, great shout. And also, if you're interested in joining the community of MVHQ, it's token gated via an NFT pass. You can go on Blur and search MVHQ or Metaverse HQ. on there to find one and pick one up and join our Discord and hang out. That's
where all the fresh alpha shared after all, right? Whatever you hear in here, it's 10 times more in there. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff is still only stuck. It's going to be gated, still the same. So, you know, we gotta take care of our members over there.
Absolutely. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back next week, same time. Appreciate y'all. Thanks, Jinzo. Thanks everyone who came up and spoke.
Thank you guys. See you next week.